Okay, I'd like to respond to what the Cleveland Cavaliers owner Dan Gilbert said about LeBron. I'd like to say a couple of things about that. I wanna say that he's wrong for bashing LeBron. I mean, the man gave them 7 years of his career, and they didn't even they only made the finals once out of those 7 years, and he took them to the Eastern Conference Finals and the semifinals, the Eastern Conference semifinals, only to be knocked out. Most of those times they didn't have enough guys off the bench to even contend with teams like the Magic or the Heat or the Hawks. They don't even have that good of a bench. The only thing they're relying on is LeBron's offense, and they run everything through LeBron. And if they run everything through one person, if one person messes up, everybody is gonna mess up. That means that the whole team is gonna collapse, and the whole team is not gonna want to do anything because their whole offense is run through that one person. Now, mind you, if they had like another scorer or another person such as Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, or say for example a guy like Dwight Howard on their team, say if they had a person like that on their squad, then it would be much easier for LeBron because he would be more of the assist type of person, the more Magic Johnson type of player that he wants to become. He could rebound the ball, pass the ball. He could be more willing to pass the ball down low to a guy, say like a Dwight Howard or a Chris Bosh, so to speak. And that's the thing. They don't understand that he is looking for a player that will complement his style of play. He's a guy that can attack the basket. He can pass the ball. He can rebound. All that. He needs players or a player that can complement his style of play. He's an all-around player, so you gotta have someone that at least complements one of your style of play. And in my opinion, I believe LeBron will will have success in Miami due to the fact that LeBron James is is one of the greatest players of all time and will always be one of the greatest players of all time because he has the talent and the ability to become a great player around great players. Look at Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan didn't have success on his own. He did not have success on his own. He had people like Scottie Pippen or Dennis Rodman. He did not have success on his own because he needed players that will help him complement his style. Where he can, so to speak, dish out the ball, and when he draws double teams, dish out the ball, open jump shots, whatever. He needs those type of players around him. The same thing with LeBron James. But the whole situation with him, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade is that all those guys are really scorers, and they're not really like what their real position is. Those guys want to be scorers, and one of those three guys have to at least sacrifice one of their roles and become another role player, and to become better, to make this trio or super team, so to speak, work. And LeBron is a guy that's willing to do that. If the Cavs per se brought in a Chris Bosh or a big man like David Lee, so to speak, it would be a situation where they would have a good team around them, and I believe a situation like that would work. And LeBron James wouldn't have a problem having a big man that could shoot the ball and rebound and pass and do all those things. And I don't think the Cavs have any real talented players right now that would help them go any further than the first round in the playoffs or even make the playoffs next year. And honestly, Dan Gilbert, for you to bash LeBron for a guy that gave 7 years of his talent to that team, the Cavaliers, which you tried, which you traded players, and trade away assets that could have been useful to LeBron in the later on if he had kept those players. I mean, think about it. He did the wrong thing by trading a lot of those players, but those may have been right moves at the time. But if you had kept those players, you don't know the type of depth that the Cavaliers would have had. The Cavaliers would have had the type of depth that the Celtics would have had if Dan Gilbert had kept those players. And I think, from my opinion, the Cavaliers would have been a good team if they had kept some of the players that they had. And in my opinion, I believe that LeBron needs to be surrounded by good players. For him to become great, he has to have good players. Michael Jordan had good players around him. It's not like he didn't have anyone around him that would make him great. He had good players. He had, players that complement his style and his style of play. He was an unselfish player. He was a star, but he was willing to become unselfish and willing to, give up certain things to become a champion. And he did that. He had Dennis Rodman and he had Scottie Pippen. Those players don't come around. Look at Shaq and Kobe. You have to have a great player in order for a team to become champions. You have to have great players. Look at Kobe now with Pau Gasol, Ron Artest, Andrew Bynum, all those good players. Kobe has good players around him. Look at him sitting with 5 rings on his fingers. He has Derek Fisher on his side. You had to have your team with good players to become champions, and that was the key, and that is the key for the Lakers. And you might see the Lakers win next season, and I'm telling you, the Lakers might win next season again with a three-peat. And I'm telling you that because this type of team, the Lakers, they are a more structured and deep team. They are structured and deep. The Cavaliers, they were not even structured. Period. The Cavaliers were not even structured. They don't even have much of a bench team. They only had 2 players that could really come off the bench and help out LeBron. Maybe a Mo Williams or Delonte West. And Delonte West, he wasn't really playing well at all through all the playoffs and all that. So how can you say that you have good players and when they wasn't playing well through that time? And these issues, like the rumor about Delonte West and LeBron's mom, I think that's something that had an effect on him as well. Maybe it didn't, maybe it don't, but obviously he didn't want to stay with a team where he didn't feel comfortable with enough, and where he didn't feel like he was gonna win. So he left the Cavaliers for the Miami Heat. I mean, I think it's a good choice for him. Obviously, I think it is a good choice for him because, for one, you have a talented player and a great player in Dwayne Wade, who already won the championship with the Miami Heat in 2006. And for one, you got another guy, another big player who's hungry in Chris Bosh. He's hungry for another ring. Put those 3 together, and they're a hungry team. And that's the thing with the NBA. They gotta have hungry players and put them together. If you put 3 hungry players together, they're gonna go out there and try to win a ring. This trio is probably the complete opposite of KG, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce. It's probably the complete opposite of that team because those guys, they knew what they wanted. They've been in the game. They worked hard for what they wanted because they felt like they deserved to be champions, and that's why they formed that trio, and that's why they had the success that they had. And that's why I believe LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh